Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? 15 New Orleans Saints are on the injury report today. Let's run through those that did not practice. Deontay Hardy, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave. It's 4 of your top 5 receivers. Okay, I'm going to stop laughing. Marshawn Lattimore, Peyton Turner, Calvin Throckmorton. Those are your 7 players that did not practice. Receivers: Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Deontay Hardy, Chris Olave, Marshawn Lattimore, Peyton Turner, Calvin Throckmorton. 7 that did not practice. Maybe there were 14 on the injury report. My apologies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 did not practice, and then 1. It's absurd that I have to sit here and count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm sorry, and then 7 that were limited. So 14. Forgive me. 14 players on the injury report for the Saints today. Those that were limited today: Ryan Ramczyk, Paulson Adebo, J.T. Gray, Taysom Hill, Marcus May, Malcolm Roach, and Jameis Winston. The good news there is Alvin Kamara was not on the injury report at all, meaning he was a full participant. He, of course, has missed 2 games. He's been battling that rib injury, but Kamara was a full participant. That's great news. And Taysom's battling the rib as well, that we know, so they're taking him along slowly. The biggest news there, clearly, is that Jameis Winston was back and practicing on a limited basis. Now, I want to be very clear. It is fairly common when players are dealing with a serious injury to go out on Wednesday and try to give it a go. They're limited. It's just like, let's see you do a little bit, and then the next day see how you feel. After you do a little bit, wake up tomorrow and see how you feel. And sometimes that's a really good indicator. If you feel good, maybe you do a little bit more the next day. And if not, then you revert and you shut it down. So while it's encouraging that Winston is taking this step, I also want to wait and see if he gives it a go on Thursday as well. It's worth noting that's what they did in London, where he was giving it a go and then decided to shut it down. We saw Andy Dalton start and then start last week as well at home against Seattle. There's 2 main talking points, for me anyway, as it pertains to Jameis. One, I know there's a lot of you that do not want the Saints to proceed with Jameis Winston. I'm not done. I appreciate the feedback. I do. I know, because I feel like I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of where fans stand with Jameis. And a lot of you didn't want him to begin with, and the performance at the start of this year in your mind has validated your opinion of not wanting him. My opinion, as you probably well know, is that I've never been definitive that Jameis is the guy. I've been very adamant that he can potentially be the guy, and the Saints should find that out, because you're talking about a guy at 27 who has number 1 overall potential, that in the right system, with the right coaches and the right talent, could potentially maximize that the same way that Drew Brees did when he came to New Orleans. That was the whole concept. Because if you're the Saints and you're looking for your franchise quarterback, you're not going to get it in the draft this year. That's for sure, unless if you strike gold in the middle rounds. Because franchise quarterbacks, nobody trades their franchise quarterback. I mean, Washington, sending Kirk Cousins up to Minnesota is an outlier. And you can say what you want about Kirk Cousins. Is he a quality starter? Absolutely. Is he elite? Will he ever win a championship? I don't think so, but that's to each person to make that determination. But there's 2 points. Number 1 is specifically with this year. And specifically with this season, I'm going to maintain you do not play Jameis Winston until he is healthy. Not kind of healthy, not healthy enough to play, because when you played the healthy enough to go out there and try to give it a go, Jameis, you saw what you saw against Tampa, and that was a disaster. You saw what you saw against Carolina, and that was a disaster. A healthy Andy Dalton gives you a better chance to win than an injured Jameis Winston. That's not even debatable at this point. Like, I'm not even open to hearing an argument about injured Jameis Winston with a broken back trying to play instead of healthy Andy Dalton. Like, I do not even want to entertain that conversation. Now, I don't get to make the decision, clearly, but I don't even need that conversation in my life. What is a relevant conversation? I know Andy Dalton is not the Saints' future. I know he's not going to be the franchise for the next half decade. Jameis could be. And last year, when he started 5-2, looked like he might be on the way to that. And then he tore his ACL and they shut it down. And so a lot of us are really optimistic about what he could be this year. And in week 1, he breaks his back and then has the ankle injury as well, and he's been limited. And clearly, he's not right. So I'm not going to make a 5-year determination on a guy based on a small sample where he's playing with a broken back. So at some point this year, they need to decide. Now, they got him for 2 years, so it's the rest of this year and next that they could theoretically use that window to decide if they're going to make a long-term commitment to Jameis Winston. But at some point, you got to get him back out on the field to know if you want to make that commitment. So when he's ready, I want Jameis Winston back on the field. It's just not going to be this Sunday for me. Because I don't know how you get out there with a broken back after resting for 2 weeks and think you're going to go play in an NFL game. Andy Dalton gives you a better chance to win. And the other point that I'll bring up is after this game, you have the quick turnaround to take on Arizona on Thursday night on the road. This would be the most brutal back-to-back for a quarterback in the season when you have to travel for a Thursday night. So play Andy Dalton on Sunday against Cincinnati. Let Andy Dalton play on the short week against Arizona. That would have given Jameis about a month. Reevaluate him and see if he's good to go. And if he is, play him. And if not, keep playing Andy Dalton until he's ready. But at some point, you got to find out what he is. Because you have to find out if he's the guy you're going to commit to for the next 4 to 6 years. And you won't know that till he plays healthy. But that ain't that guy right now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.